What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Get More Fit YouTube channel. My name is Morgan Downey, and here at Get More Fit, we are a health and life coaching business. And if you are a single Christian woman and you have ever struggled with any of the questions of how will I know if he's the one, and how can I tell if, he really walks with God the way he says he does, or kind of battled the thoughts of, I don't know, am I being too hard on him? Am I being too critical? Am I setting the bar too high? Any of these things, please keep listening. I'm going to share a story with you all today that is really going to help give you some clarity on how to discern, how to move in your single season in a way that will help you ultimately get what you want. A man led by God. All right, let's get into it. All right, story time. So before I got pregnant, one thing that I was concerned about was the amount of which my husband played video games. So before we got married, we didn't live together. So I didn't know that he played video games as much as he did. And I mean, arguably, he's going to see this because he has to edit it, but arguably he was addicted to video games. And it was something that I always kind of thought about and prayed about, began to really go to God about it. But I didn't often say much in those moments because of the Holy Spirit and just, guiding me in how to handle the way I was feeling. But I never said much because I knew that, nagging at him wasn't going to make him stop. And, nobody wants to just be nagged at all day. So although I didn't love the amount that he was playing video games, I didn't say much. And one day we had a conversation where I did share with him that one of my concerns about getting pregnant was honestly that I didn't feel like if I got pregnant, he would be very attentive to me because of the amount of time he spent playing video games. So we had the conversation and, he reassured me that that wasn't going to be a problem, so on and so forth. So I can't remember exactly when we had that conversation, but months later, I think it was months later, maybe weeks later, I was still continuing to just pray over the situation and just pray over the amount of time he spent playing video games. And one day specifically, I know it because I texted my therapist this day. It was October 16th. It was a Wednesday. And I was in the shower and the Holy Spirit revealed to me that the game had become an idol in Khalil's life. So for those of you who don't know, an idol is just something that you put above God. And I texted her because I was sharing this insight that I got. And I just took it to prayer. Again, I did not say anything to Khalil about this or what I was feeling, what I was thinking. And I lied to you not. 2 weeks later, his boss and spiritual mentor invites him to a revival. He goes to the revival by himself. I had to work that night. He goes to the revival. That was a Tuesday. The next day, he's getting ready for work and sits down and tells me that the night before at the revival, God revealed to him that the game had become an idol in his life and that he was going to give away his PlayStation for free. And not, sell it and make somebody pay for it. No, but give it away for free. And when I tell y'all, in my mind, I was rejoicing. But I didn't want to show it and just, be all extra. I was just appreciative that he was sharing it with me, and I didn't want to be extra. So, he's going to see this video, like I said, but look, I was rejoicing. I could not believe that moment, mainly because not only was he going to give the game away, but I was just in awe of God because he revealed to me that the game was an idol. And then 2 weeks later, here we are, and Khalil's telling me he's using the word idol. And that was exactly what I got. So it was mind-boggling. So that was October 30th. November, the end of November, I get pregnant. December, late December, I find out. I take a pregnancy test January 3rd. January 5th, I tell Khalil I'm pregnant. So the moral of the story is, number one, you if you're in your single season, you need to build your relationship with God so that the Holy Spirit dwells in you, so that they can guide you in your single season in terms of choosing a partner and when you get married and how to navigate your marriage. Because there are things that we worry about that we're always trying to control. But if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you can't truly trust God. You can't trust that God is going to take care of everything. I could have been nagging him and complaining the whole time about the video games and all that. And I could have been worried about, oh, well, how, if I'm pregnant, he's not going to pay attention to me, da 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 da. Meanwhile, God's like, look, don't worry about that. I got it covered. Philippians 4 says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for what he has already done. Okay. So I'm sorry, but this is just such a powerful testimony to me because that was really what I did. So I'm telling you guys, one, you just need to focus on building your relationship with God and allowing the Holy Spirit to guide you. So that way, when you get into the marriage, you know how to be led by the Holy Spirit. And you want your man to be led by the Holy Spirit as well. Because if the Holy Spirit is not in your husband, he is going to lead you and your family by his flesh, his emotions, his trauma, all the things that you don't want leading you. He will lead from that because the Holy Spirit is not leading. You want the Holy Spirit more than anything. I was talking to a friend not too long ago, and this is how this whole video came about because we were talking about this. And I basically made the point that either you wait patiently while you're single for the right man to come along, or you rush and anxiously get married because you just want a partner who, says they, follow God, but they don't necessarily just really have fruit to demonstrate that they follow God and that the Holy Spirit is in them. And then you get married and now you spend so much time praying and getting on your knees, asking God to change them. But it's like, if you would have just waited for a man who was led by the Holy Spirit, it would look a lot different once you're actually married. So one way that you can tell if someone has the Holy Spirit in them, how you can tell if you have the Holy Spirit within you, is if you feel convicted when you sin. If you don't feel conviction when you sin, there is a good chance, that the Holy Spirit is not in you. It is not in the person that you're talking to. And that is a red flag. So what does that mean? Let me give you an example. If you are comfortably having premarital sex, like you have sex and you really don't feel convicted about it at all. Like it just is what it is. Like it's just what you do, whatever. There's a good chance that you don't have the Holy Spirit in you because you are comfortably living in sin, and the Holy Spirit does not dwell in bodies, in places where sin is comfortable. When you have the Holy Spirit in you and you continuously sin, you feel bad about it. You don't feel comfortable doing it. God will press upon your spirit to no, this is bad. This is wrong. I need to stop. So be mindful of that, because you can meet someone and they say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, da da da. And they can read the Bible and they can go to church, but they can live in sin and not have the Holy Spirit within them and lead you to destruction. Okay. So be very mindful of that as you're out here dating. I also just want to add that so often we think that we need to live with our partner before we get married to see how it is, how it would be to live with them in the future. In all honesty, one, if you're living with your person and you obviously now have the temptation to sin together, that's not moving you in the will of God. Like, you don't need to test drive the car to see if this is the person for you. Because let me give you guys an example. If I had lived with Khalil before we got married, because I felt like I needed to see if we could do it first and play house before we were actually married, him playing the game so much probably would have turned me off some. And that could have easily delayed us getting married. Meanwhile, I didn't live with him. We got married. And before we were even a year, we were married for about a year and some change. And he was giving his game away. So like, sometimes we get so caught up and focused on these little details about how someone is now. But when they're submitted to the Holy Spirit, you never know what God is going to do and how he will transform them and how he will convict them. Because if that would have stopped me from marrying him, I wouldn't even have seen a year later, the game would be gone. And the thing that I was worried about is literally already taken care of. So number one, you don't need to live with someone in order to test drive and see if the person, is compatible with you in terms of marriage. Because regardless, you spend a season of your life. I mean, it's going to happen in multiple seasons, but you're always learning how to communicate and shift and adjust. And you let the Holy Spirit adjust you based on who you're married to. So, food for thought. 3 main takeaways from this video. Number 1, while you are in your single season, practice hearing and obeying the Holy Spirit in your everyday life. This will enable you to thrive in your single season and pick a good partner. Number 2, do not move in with your spouse or your fiance or your boyfriend thinking that you have to test drive and see how will it actually be when we get married. Because that can easily lead to you being turned off over something so small that God already has handled, but it's so big in our minds that we're like, nah, I don't think I can do this. Or we delay getting married because we're waiting for God to change them before we get married. And you really don't even realize you're supposed to be married, so you can now have authority as his wife and pray that thing up out of him. Okay. And number 3, do not settle for a man who does not have the Holy Spirit within them if you have the Holy Spirit in you. And if you do number 1, you should have the Holy Spirit in you by the time you're ready to get married. But do not settle for a man who does not have the Holy Spirit within them, who is not submitted to God. You want a man who is submitted to the Lord, particularly, that's what we're talking about here, if you are submitted to the Lord. So, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them below. Also, one of my clients told me about this. If you want to do a listener letter, like if you want to send me a listener letter, if you want to maybe ask me something or comment something or tell me a story that you don't necessarily want to drop in the comments, please shoot me an email and I will share it anonymously, but answer any questions or, any statements that you guys bring to me. So you can email me at getmofit@gmail.com. I will also drop that below, but it's spelled GETMOPHIT@gmail.com. But yeah, I would love to hear from you guys, but I understand that sometimes you don't want to put your business out there. So if that's you, please email me and we'll talk about whatever you send me on the next video. Okay, I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.